What is up, Bucs fans? We are back live here on a Monday night. Real Bucs Talk with you. I'm your host, Michael Plus. Joined as always, my co-host, Mark Ramirez, and it's good to be back. It's good to coming off a bye week for the Buccaneers. They did not lose a game, so that's always a bonus. But Mark, how are we doing? How are we feeling about this second half of the season coming up for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
7-0 plus. It's going 7-0.
You know that's how it's going to go.
If Jamel Dean's back, we're good. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, realistically wise, I think it's Todd Bowles' job or nothing kind of thing. So if you lose more than one game, okay, it's pretty much his job, and it's the position he put himself into. Not just him, the team, injuries, blah blah blah. It's the same story every year. So you got what you have, run with it, and you have probably the easiest schedule of anyone, of any team moving forward. That's why your little bring up that little chart again of the potential of making the playoffs. Have we shown that yet? Bring that back up.
Let me bring it.
This is
here.
the reason why you're higher than most. You got 47.4% chance of making the playoffs, and that is based off of winning the division.
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing about it. So
Yeah.
there's very much a possibility you can make it. It's almost a 50-50 shot you make it. And that's if you produce on the field. Clearly, you're not producing now, or you haven't produced in the past 4 or 5 weeks. So what flips the switch? I don't know. I don't necessarily know. Maybe when your job's on the line, that's when you coach the best. But I don't know what version of Todd Bowles we're going to get, because this whole year's been, I don't know who the hell this guy is. How do you get a guy that can coach amazing, move Canty around, move Vita Vea around for better ways to beat the offense, and now it's like they don't know. And that's the biggest question mark. They don't know. And that's when a coach gets fired, like Dirk Cutters. I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That was the time of, okay, that's when he's supposed to get fired. So let's see. A lot still is in the future for this team, but is it good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, right now, you have New York coming up this week, as you see there on the schedule. New York made a quarterback change, so they're going with Tommy DeVito as their new starting quarterback. So they brought in the young Italian to take over. I'm pretty sure his family is part of probably the Italian mob, but so he's the quarterback, and we know how things go for quarterbacks this year against the Bucs defense. They do pretty well. It seems like the offenses that we face every game is like their career highs in stats, and it's sad to say, but that's what's happening. The Buccaneers defense just hasn't been good. They're pretty much almost dead last in every category, whether it's third down defense, whether it's just passing yards given up, completion percentage, guys getting the ball being wide open, and then the biggest stat is just missed tackles. That is the biggest concern. I think John Ledyard put it out there on his podcast, but 64 missed tackles from weeks 6 through 10. That's just dreadful. Like, yeah, you better check your sheets because it's pretty bad right now. But just looking at this defensive lineup, they are going to be fully healthy going into this game. They're going to have Jamel Dean back, Tyke Smith, McCollum, no more Josh Hayes or Funderburk. You brought in Mike Edwards to help out your depth at safety. You promoted Troy Hill to the active roster to take the place of Keenan Isaac, who got cut. So really, there's no excuses. And just looking at that and looking at the schedule upcoming, Buccaneers have an opportunity. We'll see if they can play better, play more within structure. And we're going to talk about that once we get into the film here. We want to show a few examples of the defense and what could go better and what is the big issues that are causing a lot of these problems. Yes, some of it's personnel, but some of it is just line up and be in a certain spot where you're forcing the football to go one way instead of just, hey, this guy's open. Guess what the quarterback's going to do? He's going to take those yards and take advantage of it. So just little things like that have to be have to be a lot better.
The most scary thing about DeVito about to start, he's only thrown one game over 200 yards.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's gonna have a career high in something. I just don't know why, but I have that feeling.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we win the game, but he's gonna get career numbers. I think bet the over for Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Because of my Tommy DeVito. But,
Yeah.
I'll say this, I will say 100%, I think Jamel Dean coming in, I said that before the bye. Jamel Dean and McCollum, hopefully his hamstring's better as well, and Tyke Smith, if those 3 are healthy, I think you're pretty much set in your secondary. Just stay
Mhm.
healthy, which has been hard for all of our corners for years and
Yeah.
just anyone on the Bucs roster this year.
Mhm.
So, let's see, I mean, this game, you've had 2 weeks to prepare, you've gotten healthy. I think the offense will do something. Does the defense do anything? And like you said, I mean, there's been no identity at all. Sell out. If you're really trying to be something, sell out and force the other team to beat you. Because right now you're doing half and half. You're doing your defensive line's doing well, so you just let them rush 4, but then you drop so far back with your secondary that it just the whole middle of the field's wide open.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just send so many people in that there's someone wide the hell open, or there's a miscommunication in the secondary. So it's a troubling thing. And
Yeah.
we want to see if you're going to sell out in a big way where it's hard for the other team to make decisions. Don't just play cautious, I guess. And that's what he's been doing this whole year, it seems.
Yeah, there hasn't been a marriage with the coverage in the pass rush all year. And you said it best. They're just so inconsistent. One time, one play the pass rush gets there, but the coverage is so bad that the quarterback can get rid of the football, and it's affecting Yaya Diaby and Kalijah Cansey to be more effective than they have been so far, because Cansey's your best pass rusher. He's winning pretty consistently, and he should have more numbers than he does. But the problem is the quarterback can get rid of it so quickly that you can't get to him. So that has to be better. But with that said, we'll move into the defensive film here and just give some examples. These are a few examples that I thought were just kind of telling of how the defense has gone this year. But here is basically a good example of where I think if they can play more like this, where guys are in structure, you kind of see how the defense, everyone's getting to a certain spot. Yes, San Francisco made it easier on them for this play. It's just a simple 2 out routes and you have your underneath options, but at least the pocket was contained. So the quarterback can't get outside of the pocket. So that's good. And then you have guys matched up where they're actually contesting the options or the routes and have multiple guys around the football. I think that is something that we have to see more often. And obviously, that will improve with the health of the team this Sunday. But this is what I want to see, like just overall good structure by the defense.
A couple things I want to note on this play too. So you have guys that can drop back into his zone. And JTS, they always mention him in the offseason. He's like a puzzle piece or a chess piece, right? You can move him around. He is athletic enough. He can drop back and cover in space. He's a better athletic outside linebacker. Anthony Nelson, not so much. He got beat by Christian McCaffrey early and often in this game. But this one was just simple. Okay, stand on one man, keep your hands on him, 6'7", stay on him. I like the personnel usage on this. And then if you're going to send in Devontae David, I like how they did a little stunt with Kalijah Cansey, and that also gives Vita Vea the outside edge where he's won multiple times. He's just too big, strong, going against their best too. So it was just a good mismatch and way to push the pocket, right? So like you were saying, get a good marriage between your defensive line and your secondary all working together. And they did on this one. So kudos to them. We just want to see a little bit more consistent because look at that pocket. It crashed and burned. He had to get rid of it. And now, plus, let's talk about what isn't good. So how the hell does this happen? The Red Sea opens up right here. What happened?
Yeah, so this was the first pass attempt for Brock Purdy in this game. And I don't get the drop in a Vita Vea. I know it doesn't happen. It happens rarely that they do this, but you're just giving a quarterback who likes to scramble free yards. Like, oh, hey, here we go. Take the yards. We're gonna give it to you. We don't have anybody filling this gap, so we're just gonna give you yards. And I would say if Vita Vea stayed in his gap, that's probably a sack by whoever is coming around the corner there, JTS, I think. So it's like just play the rush. Like you're already sending in a guy off the edge and Izzy, like let these guys play and stop trying to be cute, because guess what? It's not working.
Yeah, because if anything, if anyone sees a man that's that large leave, and then you see his back, clearly it's an easy, just let me run behind him. There's no
Yep.
way he's gonna do anything, turn around and get me. It's so simple. So if anything, backpedal Vita Vea. Maybe it was just poor assignment by Vita Vea, but still, this is dumb. Like I don't want to see him going backwards. He's your best defensive lineman by a long shot, and you're having him run backwards. It just makes no sense, and it's so easy to pick out what's happening. And
Yep.
here, good lord, a six-man rush, and you get no pressure, perfect pocket. What is Jordan Whitehead doing? I don't know. Go after the quarterback. What are we sitting here waiting for? What are we waiting for? But, like, it
Yeah.
blows my mind, some of these things, and then you get middle of the field wide open. Again, good contested play somewhat, but still, like, what's going on, plus?
Yeah, I don't know. And once again, you have Anthony Nelson on Christian McCaffrey, so it it makes really no sense. Like, and this has happened all year, where just the structure, the design, the concepts just haven't been in sync, and you're just getting nothing from your pressures in the blitz packages, and it's just not working. And then here's the touchdown play where, you know, I don't know what's wrong with Antoine Winfield. I don't know if he's hurt. He might be laboring, but he's just not moving very well. At least laterally, he's not. He's just, looks slow to me to react on this play, and then doesn't make the tackle either. Um, but yeah, it's just not good. And obviously you don't have coverage with your linebackers. And that's a tough ask, covering, and a great play design to get the ball to Pearsall here. But I just don't know what's going on with Antoine for sure.
Oh, well, he had just about 2 weeks to rest up and get better, so let's see if there's a different type of guy. But it's also it's not just that, it's how many missed tackles, like you just mentioned, 64 the past, what, 4 weeks it
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Maybe close
Past six
to
weeks.
6 weeks? Yeah,
Yeah.
including the bye and everything, but, I mean, look at this. You're right there, you have him right in front of you. Let's get him, wrap him down, pull him down, and that's a missed tackle. Like, that can't consistently happen. Look at the yards, extra 10 yards after contact. That cannot happen. That's your best player that you signed missing tackles. I mean, I don't
Mhm.
care if you're hurt or not. I mean, you're right there to make the tackle. Like, to me, if you got an injury, that means you couldn't get into the play. You're in the play. Just
Yeah.
make the play,
Right.
right? And then now this one, okay, Levante David, great linebacker. Let's make this play right there. Don't make it burn anymore. Oh, never mind. Great individual player, don't get me wrong. But now you get another great player, 31. Here we go. Go get him. Just bring him down, going high, shoulder to the chest, on the ground. He ends up. Like, this is just flat out ridiculous for like your top tier players doing this. Like, these are the guys
Mhm.
you can rely on, and it's just not happening. Yeah, like it's one thing to be, oh, okay, the offense beat me, but don't allow something bad to get worse. And that's 15 yards after the first guy that could have gotten him. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, really, I don't see a team that's flying to the football. There's no consistency as far as getting more hats on the ball. And Larry Foote talked about that today. That's something that has to improve. Like, yeah, you have him surrounded here, but no one's going and finishing the play. You have William Golston, who ends up making the tackle. But and then here you do a good job of collapsing the pocket. And it's unfortunate that you're playing man coverage across the board. And Tyreek Thunderberg, he does his best, but he's going to get beat here against Debo Samuel. It's a great play call by the 49ers that get the right matchup, and they throw this to space. But still, you just don't make the tackle. You don't have enough players around the football. And then, he just gets a lot of yards there. But yeah, I mean, defensively, there's probably more to see, and we'll try to bring more of those examples as we move on here throughout the season. Hopefully, it gets better and we show you better things. But right now, yeah, it hasn't been good. So it's a combination of missed tackles, guys not making the plays when they're there to be made, and then basically concepts is just not structured very soundly right now. The blitz packages are poor. You're not funneling the football to a certain spot to get, more guys around the ball and get them off the field. Third down defense is a mess. So that's been a big issue for this team right now. And I'm hoping it gets cleaned up because it's going to have to if this Bucs team wants to win 6 out of the last 7 to at least have a chance at the playoffs.
You say that, it's like you gotta laugh. Like,
yeah.
I don't care who the hell you faced. You lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And you can't say, oh, well, look at last year. No team is ever the same. I mean, yeah, Canales was terrible in the beginning of last year. We're pretty damn good offensively. He just started getting better at the end.
Yeah.
What the hell? What, the defense is that going to flip flop? Is the defense going to all of a sudden become great again? I don't know. Like what Curlin just said there, bad coaching is a question mark.
Yeah.
It's a fairly rough season to watch. Yeah, I 100% agree. And because like the argument that some people will give with Todd Bowles is like that they're in every damn game.
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes down to the wire. But good coaching wins you games usually.
Yeah.
Good decisions make, like the Kansas City game, we could have won if we go for 2 right there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big coaching decision. And then I
Right.
think we showed at the last live stream, if you flip the final result of every one possession game or one score game, the Bucs are 7-3 right now.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs were what, 2 and something, 2-9 or something like that. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think the biggest thing with this season, I think why a lot of fans are frustrated is I watched pretty much most of the games yesterday on TV and just watching their defenses. And I look across their board at the defense. They don't have, they don't have amazing talent everywhere. And, the Bucs have a pretty good roster on defense. And they should be a lot better than what they've been putting on the field. And what I see from these other teams is just the structure of their defense is very sound. They're not doing anything too complex, but they're being in the right position, A, and then B, they're rallying to the football and making tackles. You're not seeing a bunch of missed tackles here or there. Guys are in the spots and they're making the tackle. And that's half the battle right there. Just making plays and not giving up an extra 20, 30 yards because you guys missed the tackle. And then you're basically giving up points. Did you know that the Bucs have been giving up points on 50% of defensive possessions from week 6 through 10 or whatever it was? That's awful. Like half of every drive the offense gets, they're going to score points. And they're only punting 24% of the time. So that's not good. That's pretty bad. Like it's just at the lowest of lows right now. And
So every 4th possession, you'll punt it. But the first 3, you're going to get something out of it.
Yeah, you're getting either a field goal, and the Buccaneers have been lucky because kickers have been missing kicks.
Yeah.
Like last week, we gave up 32 points. If you look at it they could have had 32 because if the guy makes their kicks, which he should have made, that's 32 points right there. We lose by 12 points. So yeah, defensively, and I look at these other teams, they're just way better structurally, calling blitzes and marrying those blitzes. I told you yesterday about the Vikings and how they are blitzing a lot, but guess what? They are marrying their coverage behind it. Yeah, they might get cooked at times, and they do, but they're creating these negative plays. They're creating these turnovers, sacks, whatever, and that's helping them. And the Bucs are just not doing that right now. So yeah, it's not a good thing.
I mean, overall, you guys got to look at one man, the head coach, to make the changes to move forward, right? And what the biggest problem to me is the fact that it's his defense. Your head coach is a defensive coordinator. Usually you look at the head coach too, okay, we're gonna right the ship, we're gonna fix this.
Yeah.
It hasn't been fixed all season. And what are your complaints? You had KJ Britt as your middle linebacker peg from day one. So if you knew there was a liability there, okay, we can hide that a little bit.
Yeah.
What other complaint do you have besides the first couple of weeks? You're kind of great, and then Savassier was one hell of another puzzle piece or chess piece, whatever we call them. But
Mhm.
you got to have plans for when this happens. How do we do this? And it's not like we had that many crazy things go down, like how the offense lost Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Luke Gedeke for a little while, and Tristan Wirfs now. How long is he going to be out? Like, let's see. Watch the offense probably still move. I don't care. It's the Giants. Even without Wirfs out there, because there's a better coach calling it. Like, it's not necessarily relying on the players. You got to have a scheme that can help out these players play fast. And that's one
Mhm.
thing I bought into Todd Bowles immediately early. Is that was one thing he said early on. He's like, I'm going to find ways to get these guys to run to the ball fast, quickly, and coach them up right. I don't know what happened. I don't know
Yeah.
where that coach went, and it's weird, very weird.
Mhm.
But it
Yeah.
is right now.
Yeah. I mean, Rampage says it's hard for me to care until Bulls gets fired. I completely understand. That point, Bulls is slow to adjust. Yep, I've talked about that before a lot. I've talked about it with Mark as well. Um, you're not trying to make excuses for Bulls, but we did just go through a gauntlet. Yeah, we did. I mean, they were good offensive teams. Um, but still, I look at, and I'll say it again, I look at these other defenses that are going up against these same teams that we went up against, and they're finding ways to get stops more consistently because they're just doing simple structures, having guys in the right place, making it difficult for the quarterback more often than not. And for whatever reason, we are not doing that. We're not making anything difficult on defense. We're just giving, here you go, here's free 10 yards. Oh, you know what? We'll take those 10 yards and make it into 20 because we don't know how to tackle. So it's like you're just not having any strengths right now. And that's a problem. And I'll bring this back up because this might be, this is the Atlanta Falcons schedule. They just got blown to shreds by Denver Broncos 38-6. And I know the Bucs did as well.
And that's the offensive gauntlet that we faced, right? And they scored 6 against the Denver.
Yeah.
But they lost 34-14 to Seattle. So it's not like
Yeah.
they're supreme defense.
They lost they lost to Kansas City, they lost to Pittsburgh. They beat Philadelphia just like we beat Philadelphia. They beat the Saints,
very
and this is the problem right here. They beat us twice. I think that's where most of the frustration comes into play because Atlanta is not a good football team, and you lost to them twice.
Mhm.
That's the problem. And both of those games you should have won. Not only if you played just better defense, you probably win. But for whatever reason, didn't happen. You let Kirk Cousins, of all people, throw 500 yards and then 276 in the game here. And I'm pretty sure those are his best games of the year.
Mhm.
Well, besides this one, I mean, against the Saints, but still not good. I mean, he had 173 yesterday against Broncos defense. And the Broncos are not doing anything special on defense. They are just playing a sound structure and coming up and taking things away. Um, so that's the frustrating part. It's like just it's not hard to paint a picture here, and this team should be better, but right now it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not all about names, but can you name besides the corner that they have Surtain? No one can name anyone else really on that Denver defense. I know we can, but like
Yeah,
of like guys, you're like, oh, that guy's gonna be a Pro Bowler, perennial great player. Besides
yeah,
him, Nick
yeah,
Bonito, yes, he's having his breakout season,
right.
but other than that, their best linebacker got hurt in our game
Hmm.
for the season, and like
Yeah,
it's like They're just putting pieces together, being aggressive, playing a assignment sound to the ball, gang tackling type of defense. We're not doing that right now. And it's something hopefully they open their eyes to, but we'll see moving forward. It just blows my mind with the amount of money and investments there is on this defense. And then you're looking the way you are. It's almost like the Eagles defense from last year. It was just loaded, studded, and doing nothing. But yeah, that's why it's not named. It's how you play on the field that defines you. But like defensively, it's one thing. Do you want to move forward? Because I mean, it's just beating a dead horse right now. Yes, defense has to improve to get better, but there's also a team game. Let's move over to the offense. How can the offense help that defense move forward in games?
It's and just to preface this a little bit before we get into, we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield and how if he steps up to just a more consistent level, this offense, to be honest, without Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, could have been averaging probably 30 points per game the whole time, because this scheme, I mean, Cohen is dialing it up. I kid you not, guys. Like, people are open. It's up to Baker. He's got to find that balance to be aggressive and pull the trigger. So, yeah, we'll get into that. I'm going to pull it up right here. There's just plays that he's missing, whether it's inaccurate or just not pulling the trigger. And this is costing the team extra possessions to get points and put up potential touchdowns and have opportunities. But you look at the play here, it's a great design. The Buccaneers are one of the most, I guess, well-diverse screen teams. Usually this is a screenplay to Bucky Irving at the top. So they do a great job of running this bluff play where Kate Otten and Payne Durham look like they're going to block, but they're going out into the routes. So you have Durham taking the middle of the field on a post and Kate Otten going up the sideline. This ball should be out to Kate Otten because guess what? Safety flipped his hips. Yep. It's wide open. Like, that has to be at least a 30-yard completion, maybe more if he can break a tackle, potentially a touchdown. So these are things that you can't miss. Like, you're looking at it, you see it open, pull the trigger, like, let it happen. Like, what are you waiting on? You got to do it. And I know you still get, 5 yards, which is great, but these are the plays that you just can't miss in today's NFL.
And this is huge. Like, Plus said it himself. Like, he's literally watching this safety to see what's going to happen. You're going to tell me it was either this is your option number one and this was number two immediately. If that number one's not there, we're going to check it down immediately. When your best player on offense has been Kate Otten for 3 weeks straight, you're not going to hit that, especially when this guy turned all the way over. He's like, okay, here's my ass. Check me out. And he's still holding the ball. Still, no, I'm getting rid of it. That is a poor read, but still a good executed play where an accuracy was pretty good on that one. But then where's the accuracy here? What the hell? We find our best player. We got a little out route to Cade. This is inconsistent football. It's not just defensively. Offensively, player just not there's space. We throw to space. We try not to have the defenders get involved in the game, right? What is that? That is an inconsistent play from an inconsistent read. Now, throwing accuracy. That's got to get improved. Like, I don't even have to talk about that one. It is what it is on that one. So let's keep moving forward. What are we missing on this one, Plus?
Yeah, it's just another chunk play where, and I know there's some missed timing here with Palmer route, but again, you're at the back of your drop here. Let the ball go. Trust Palmer to run and go get this football because he's got the speed. He's got the leverage on the safety. He can go catch this ball in front of the safety and go to the sideline. This is just costing your team opportunities for explosives. And that is something you just can't have, even with Mike Evans coming back this Sunday, which will help. But we got to start hitting these big plays because Liam Cohen only calls like these vertical shots every now and again. But guess what? They're wide open because he's setting them up so beautifully. These have to be executed.
And to the ones that are saying he's over the top of them, there's no way he's going to beat them deep. Okay. Well, you're the quarterback. You have this little pocket here. You step up once, noticing that these linebackers are really shallow. Look at all this space that we have. We can throw him open, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to be a just deep go. He has underneath. You could have undercut this and he catches it, or throw it straight to the sideline where he has a chance. But what are we holding this ball for so long for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4 steps up. When you see where he's the only guy one on one with a deep safety,
Yeah.
let that thing loose. I mean, everyone else is doubled. Look, we got 2 here, we got 2 here. He's the only one that has a 1v1. That's an
Mhm.
easy option just to decide to get rid of it. As you said, it's only dialed up so often. If you have a 1v1, you did it to Mike Evans. I know it's a trust thing. He doesn't want to throw interceptions, but give me a good accurate throw where it's a very limited option where the other guy can get it. And now here we go.
Mhm.
Some more inaccuracies. Plus, what the hell's going on? Was it the pocket?
Yeah.
Was that the problem? Pocket?
No, the pocket's been perfect, and I wanted to get more of the O-line in here, but they've been outstanding. But Baker Mayfield, I mean, this is one of his bread and butter plays, and usually he hits this, but he doesn't.
Mm.
Now, there could be something with the timing or the depth with Russell Shepard here, but still, this is a play you got to hit. Like, where the ball has to be, got to put it on him, and he just misses. Like, and that's usually a play he connects with. So it's got to be a lot better.
Yeah. Woof. And that's
Yep.
wide open too. That one is wide ass open, as Plus likes to say.
Yeah.
It's not there. Ugh.
Yeah. So that was the previous play. Now it's 4th and 7, and here comes Superman out of his cape, and he makes the miraculous play to Rashad White. So it's like you wouldn't even have to have this play if you just made the simple play, the play before, and you're moving the football. But again, he can make these miraculous plays, and that's what I think galvanizes the fan base, galvanizes Baker Mayfield, and just he can be dominant like this, where he can make crazy plays and awesome plays like this. But it's just the little things where he's got to be more consistent, because if he just makes the plays that are there to be made, it's that much better. And that's something that has to take place if this team wants to put themselves in a spot where, hey, we don't really need to rely on our defense, because if I do my job, the offense is going to score 35 points a game, and that should be enough to win these games down the stretch.
And I agree with that point. I mean, you don't even have to rely and sit there and be like, oh, I hope we win the coin toss. Well, just do what you had to do during the game, during your 60 minutes, and
Yeah.
you're going to put yourself in the best position to win. And it's not like the other team is playing phenomenal. You're just missing.
Yeah.
And it's not just Baker, but he's the quarterback, so he's going to get the biggest thing. Just like your coach is going to get the biggest. It's his fault.
Right.
So it's going to start who's at the top, who's making the decisions. And Baker's the decision maker. Yes, Kate Otten dropped a couple balls in that game where we could have gotten points before halftime. Raheem Jarrett drops a lot of balls. I mean, it's just you can point the blame at a lot of people, but on this one, at bye week status, Baker Mayfield, you're the biggest one. That if you play consistent, just hit the easy ones. And if there's deep shot there and it's a viable option, take it. Don't always, because then people are just going to start sending the house thinking you're just going to do the short dink and dunk things. And that handcuffs you even more. I mean, there's a reason why you got to keep the defenses honest. Like, because that's what Todd Bowles going through right now. He has no clue what the hell's going on, because everyone's just now they can run against us. Now they're throwing deep against us. There's Swiss cheese all over the place.
Yeah.
So you got to start hitting the ones that are there. And he had it last year. He didn't hit a lot of deep balls, but even the easy ones you got to hit, because there are setups, like you're saying. There are people breaking open. It's your decision that you make faster. And he had that issue last year against the Falcons where I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is throwing in the towel on Baker, and then he goes on a damn run where it's amazing. But that's it. He has it in him. 100% he has it in him. And if Mike's coming back, let's see. Because Cade can perform. Mike, can perform.
Yeah.
Let's see. How can we dial it up?
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, we're not asking Baker to be, superhero every play. Just make the plays that are there and trust the structure, trust the scheme. You have players that are getting open. throw the football to the right spots and let them go make those plays, because if you do that, you play within the offense. And yes, you want to protect the football, but there's times where you have to be aggressive. And I think just knowing those situations where you have a play dialed up, you got to trust your OC to, get these guys open, which he has been doing. Gotta let it go. You gotta let it fly. And it's gonna help your offense, because it's really tough the way the Buccaneers have been operating over the last several weeks, and yet they're still scoring 20 to 24 points a game, which is pretty good given the resources that they've been dealing with. But with that said, you still have to find ways to get those explosives to help your offense to avoid what we've been seeing lately is like, the 3 and outs, the inconsistencies where we get a first down and then it's a punt shortly after, because we're just not making these plays that we're showing here on the screen. Like, that has to be something that gets corrected here in the second half. If it does, then the Buccaneers have a great chance of winning these games. And all the defense has to do is just tackle and play within structure, and try to be more consistent as far as making things difficult for the quarterback. I know those are big asks, because we haven't seen them at all this year. So hopefully it happens. You're going to be playing lesser opponents. You got to take care of business.
Yeah, so I mean, we can point the finger at the defense all day, because it is easy to point it at them, right?
Yeah.
But to the point of Todd Bowles, and I'm in every game, right? Look at the last 4 losses that we just went through. The Ravens game, yes, you lost Mike Evans, but you had a potential chance to go up. I believe it was like 17-0 at one point. Mike Evans drops a touchdown, throws an interception the very next damn play, thinking Jalen McMillan's open, and he literally threw it right to the corner in the end zone.
Yeah.
That started their momentum shift. We all know what happened after that. And then the Falcons game, without Mike Evans, we are up. I think it was what were we up? 14-7, or what was it?
No, it was 10-7. We were about to go further up, but
either way, like,
yeah.
So you had chances where, okay, we can start dominating, keep moving the ball. We sputter a lot. A lot of it isn't necessarily just play call. You're missing some targets. The Chiefs game, we were up. What was it? 24 to, I don't know. It was like 17-13, I think. And then the defense got a stop. We got the ball back. We didn't do anything with time.
Yeah.
Give it right back. And oops, here we go again. So a lot of the times the defense does give us opportunities to, okay, offense, go help me out. Let's be complimentary. They're not doing it. 49ers game, they did the same damn thing. Bucky Irving scores. We take the lead off that run.
Yeah.
Next time possession we get it, after the defense stops them, we don't do anything with it. So you got to be complimentary, where once you get it, you can't give it back. And especially riding momentum. It's like we take away our own momentum. Is it a play caller just being too shy to call something big? I don't necessarily think that, because sometimes it's just a miss from your quarterback or a timely flag, which it is what it is. But I mean, you just got to have your complimentary ball, where it's just not happening anywhere on this team. And that again is where you look at your coach, because you can't be this inconsistent if the coach isn't riding you on these issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's in all 3 phases. I mean, offense has been good enough, at least better than, I would say, 4 and 6. We should have a couple more wins if the defense was more complimentary, but it just hasn't been the case. Whether it's one phase or this phase, special teams, it's always something, unfortunately, and just can't get it where it's consistent, or finding ways to be better in all 3 phases. So yeah, it's a lot to be cleaned up. Hopefully the health of the team is gonna help them to improve and be more as far as what they want to do on both sides of the ball. But yeah, against the Giants, this is a team that is facing a lot of questions. They just changed quarterback. Like, this is a team you should be able to win. And I found offense by what Larry Foote said today. I'm like, he's talking about, oh, this is going to be another 4th quarter game. Like, no. And I know he has to say that, but still, this is a team you should be able to beat by 2 touchdowns or more. I don't yeah, I don't care who the Giants have. Like, you're better than them roster wise. Like, go out there and produce. And then also he talked about how I don't know what the Giants offense is going to do against us. Like, and that's like, I take offense to that, like saying, oh, it's just about what we do. Like, no, you need to focus on what the other team's doing. Like, try to take away their strengths and focus on a weakness that they have and go exploit it. Like, that needs to be the mindset, the game plan. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just coach speak, but I just hope the message is being more clear in the locker room.
Yeah, again, like I mentioned that earlier, if
Yeah.
you're saying you don't know something,
Yeah.
then the owner knows what they gotta do, and that's like fire your ass because you're not
Yeah.
doing your job then. You're maybe it is just media talk, it is just shut them up, I don't know,
Mhm.
but that you get paid to know and to tell these players what to expect, right? I
Mhm.
mean, film study, usually you always hear that as a compliment. "Oh, it's
Yeah.
because of the film study he did during the week that he knew that play was gonna happen." The coaches are supposed to prepare you in that. It's not just a player goes and looks at it. It's not just "Oh, I'm gonna teach you technique."
Mhm.
No, you gotta be able to help these guys read and react, and if you're saying you don't know, that's troubling, very troubling, and especially this guy, you have a sample size. He doesn't throw the ball well. They like to run a lot of little trick plays, have him run in motion. He likes to move and throw the ball off of play action. They're going to probably try and run the ball on you.
Mhm.
They're going to probably try and get him moving out, rolling out. Okay, let's contain. Let's contain the pocket, right? Make him beat you with his arm. Clearly, he's not a good one, but we don't know how we're going to do this. We don't know how they're going to attack us. You
Yeah.
have a sample size, use it, and then look at other teams that have your very similar defense. How did they attack that defense? Okay, let's start with that. But
Mhm.
to say you don't know, that's as opposed to how Canales would describe it to the other media members. That's the big difference. Even Cohen
Mhm.
does. He mentions players on the other team and stuff like that. But that's tough, tough stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what the problem is. Like, you have one side of the football where the staff on that side understands their plan of attack, understands how they're going to go, about their business against the opposing defense. But then when you flip sides to our defense versus the opposing offense, it just doesn't seem like there's a very concise plan. You have 11 guys really just running around, not really playing as a unit or playing as one. And it's an issue, especially when you look at the blitz packages versus the coverage and how it's married up. Like, just doesn't seem like there's a very cohesive plan put in place week to week. And it continues to be an issue. And then you add in the missed tackles, you add in, guys running into each other on stunts. You have Yaya Diaby, who thinks he can only win with the inside move. So he leaves a wide open gap for quarterbacks to run around him. Chris Braswell does the same thing. So it's like, what are we doing here to make this better? And that's something that hopefully we see this Sunday where it gets cleaned up.
Yeah, I mean, because we all know the flats is a weakness for our defense because we're
Yeah.
using outside linebackers to cover it. But the thing
Yeah.
is, that's where I think the tackles mean the most. If you miss that one, yeah, it's going to be bad.
Hmm.
Middle of the defense, you should be able to help out cover. Winfield, Whitehead, help out your linebackers. I mean, it's just some things where it shouldn't be that glaringly open
Hmm.
consistently. And if you're putting Anthony Nelson on McCaffrey or a running back like that, you're going to expect to get beat. So it's and if that's what's gonna happen, you better have help around that. So,
Yeah.
there's ways to help guys out, but if you're gonna consistently miss tackles this bad or set guys up for failure, dropping Vita Vea back, I mean, the writing's on the wall if you keep doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll just say, I'll close it out with this, and then we'll wrap it up. But this defense is never going to be one that is going to make you fight for yards. It's just not built that way. They're built, or at least I thought they were built. Yeah, at least they've shown in the past where Todd Bowles' defense is always known for what? Stopping the run, shutting it down completely, taking it out of the game plan. But and to their credit, they have, because it's so easy to pass against them. So why run it? um, but
but they haven't either. They
no,
haven't suffered. I mean, they're not even they're like middle of the pack. They
yeah,
used to be number 1, 2, or 3 that they every year. Oh,
yeah,
they're why even throw against them because or run against them because they're so damn good.
yeah,
Like, but
yeah.
it's no longer.
Yeah, it's not the case, and I will say it's a mixture of the coaches, it's a mixture of the personnel because frankly, you don't have linebacker play right now. Levante David, I know you disagree with this, but he's taken a step back, and I know they're asking a lot from him. They ask a lot of their linebackers regardless, and I think it's too much. But that's just the scheme. That's the way they play. But they just don't have the linebacker play consistently. Up front, you have a lot of liabilities with Logan Hall whenever he's in there. We already talk about that constantly. And yeah, you just don't have a strength up front. You're not stopping the run. And then when your blitz packages is the main focus of your defense, you're not forcing things to get the team off the field. You're not winning with your blitz and you're not marrying the coverage behind it. And that is not creating enough negative plays. You're not making it difficult. You're not forcing the mistakes. And when that happens, you're just a defense that's going to give up yards and hope for the best that either they miss a field goal or you hold them to a field goal, but none of that is happening because you're not tackling or getting off the field on third down. So it's kind of nutshell of the defense right now.
But guess what? We have a 50-50 shot almost to make the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Based off of someone else's projection, but still, like very lesser opponents based off of record are ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to find a way. And for Todd Bowles' sake, he better find a way. Well, let's see. I mean, there's still 7 games left. I'm excited to see it. Either way, you're going to have a decision. It's either Todd Bowles are going to make the playoff and he has another year, or it's like, okay, we're going to be looking for a head coach soon.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a decision within these next few games.
Yep, absolutely. I think, this Sunday will tell us a lot about this team. But with that said, appreciate everybody joining in tonight. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, comment down below your thoughts of the team and what you think. It's good to see a Giants fan in here at the last minute. Yeah, DeVito time. Yeah, we know he's probably gonna have career highs. So put those bets in for the overs. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Appreciate all the support. Hit the like button. And with that said, until the next one.